First of all, I'm Jon D'Amore. You probably have gotten some emails or heard my name said in whispers somewhere. But I'm going to speak to you a little bit today. I'm going to walk you through a PowerPoint presentation. You might see some stuff that you've seen before, but this is going to be good for people who are here for the first time. And we got a lot of new information. So first, thank you for coming to today's meeting. We know you have a lot to do, so we're going to keep it informative, factual, friendly, and short. Regarding the document mentioned in the last CBE email that was going to be distributed, we found out yesterday that that piece, which you'll be seeing on this screen, and all the pertinent documents regarding RAP on ElDorado's roads will be available for everyone on the bettereldorado.com website. We hope you visit it often because it seems every 2 or 3 days more information about the RAP that's currently on our roads is being put on there. If you've seen the site, then you know all the important and documented research there is on it. I want to give a thank you to the people who volunteered to do the bettereldorado.com website. By reading what they've posted, you could tell they know more about the legal and scientific side of RAP than most of us, and they certainly know more than those who are allowing it to be put on our roads. We can only hope that those who want RAP will take the time to go to the site and do a little research themselves. There is new documentation from the Freedom of Information Act that one of our members invested in, and the information obtained will both surprise and sadden you. It too will be on the Better ElDorado website. We're sure several of you will have questions, but we've also planned the meeting to convey information that should address those questions first. If whatever is put before you doesn't answer those concerns, we'll get to all the questions at the end, and thank you very much in advance for that. We're going to show you a PowerPoint presentation that's shorter than last month's, but with a lot of new information. We believe what you'll see will give you the details you'll need to form your own opinions. Following the PowerPoint, Millicent D'Amore will fill you in on some recent discoveries, which will be followed by introducing the new head of CBE, and from there you'll be informed about the CBE committees that are going to be formed. The committees will work with our new leader in the best interest of ElDorado in order to save our community so it will still be a place people will want to live and move to a decade from now. And why will they want to do that? Because you are part of a group that stopped the hazardous and toxic waste from being placed on our dirt roads. Before we start, I'm going to ask the same question I asked last time. Russell, you may want to hear this. Is there anyone here from either the ECIA Board or the Road Committee? Well, good for you, Paul. Yeah? Good. The Vistas, the ElDorado Information Committee, anyone from any political office like the county commissioner, the state legislator, the state senator? Is there anyone here representing someone from the board or the committees or someone in a political office? Well, thank you to you two guys for being here. Russell's on the road committee. Paul is hoping to be appointed to the road committee. Okay? Okay, that just gives you an idea of how much people want to avoid hearing the facts about RAP or acknowledging that this many people are against having it on our roads. They were all invited to this meeting and all of our past meetings. Only these two gentlemen and Pam Headline were man enough to show up who was man enough to show up at the last meeting, and we thank them all for being here. This should now give you an indication of how much time your elected and appointed representatives want to give to your community when it's not something they personally support for other reasons. Okay, let us remind you, Citizens for a Better ElDorado is an action group, not a bitch group. If you have something to say that's pro-rap, we want to hear it. We really do. But please, be armed with facts and documentation, just like those who are against rap. Also, unlike ElDorado's board or committee meetings, you can record and film us. If there's one thing I hate, it's being misquoted. So if you record it, there's less of a chance of that happening. And now, on with the presentation. ElDorado is the largest unincorporated homeowners association community in all of New Mexico. Over 2,650 homes and over 6,200 residents. Annually, we generate over $1.4 million in association fees and over $6.5 million in property taxes. Here is the ElDorado we fell in love with when we drove those dirt roads with a real estate agent or visiting someone, and then decided to return and buy. We moved here for the clean air, the tranquil setting, and under the belief that those looking out for us and would be looking out for our best interests would. If ElDorado homeowners were given the opportunity, wouldn't they rather have their roads look like this than this? Based on ElDorado's roads already covered with 100% RAP, this is what our elected and appointed representatives are allowing to happen, regardless of the health and environment hazards it contains. RAP on 8 ElDorado roads for less than 6 months, and it started to deteriorate, and through the mildest winter in decades. What if it had been a normal winter? What would these roads look like then, and how well would the county have maintained them? The following are the basics of what you should know about RAP. RAP means recycled or reclaimed asphalt pavement. It's old road that's been torn up, and when used correctly, is mixed with other necessary ingredients in order to make a properly paved road. As noted in the 2007 edition of the New Mexico DOT Pavement Manual, uniform screening of recycled matter should be a maximum of 1 inch and used with a liquid emulsion. A sample of RAP should be tested. Once this is approved by the DOT, the application should proceed. Was the RAP submitted for testing by the county, then approved by the DOT before it was applied? No documentation of this has ever been revealed by the county or the ECIA. As asphalt concrete pavement ages, its chemical composition becomes more complex. Exposure to oxygen and nitrogen in our atmosphere, as well as heat and ultraviolet radiation from the sun, causes chemical reactions to occur on asphalt surface and within its layers. These reactions create new compounds and increase its complexity over time. In addition, asphalt pavement absorbs chemicals from spills, leaking vehicles, and atmospheric pollutants. As would be expected, there is significant variability in the chemical composition of RAP depending on its age and the location and the locations from which it was obtained. It's important you know something about RAP that our ECIA has stated they've never looked into. According to a New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection report, chemical compounds exist in RAP at a higher level in a loose application. That's what we have. Used without asphalt, RAP has the potential to significantly migrate through water, wind, and physical displacement, possibly contaminating surrounding soils and surface water. Traffic on unsealed RAP roads generates dust that spreads to the surrounding environment. An environmental concern is leachability of carcinogenic substances from asphalt exposed to rain and other sources of water. Generally, leaching of toxic and potentially carcinogenic substances from surfaces of solid asphalt pavement has not been regarded as a significant environmental problem. RAP embedded in new hot mix asphalt pavement similarly does not present a problem because it is largely protected from water contact. RAP used correctly is good. Conversely, uncombined particulate RAP is another matter because the individual particles provide a much larger surface area for aqueous exposure and leaching compared to solid asphalt pavement. In addition, vehicular traffic at significant speeds abrades dry particulate RAP surfaces and can generate quantities of gray-black dust containing airborne asphalt particles with a much greater surface-to-volume ratio. Breathing dust from recycled asphalt pavement may produce lung and bronchial exposure to carcinogenic substances. RAP appeared on ElDorado's roads May of 2017. 10 months later, at the Wednesday, March 21st, 2008 ECIA Executive Board meeting, every board member admitted they had not walked on any of the 8 RAP roads in the community they represent. Citizens for a Better ElDorado strives for honesty, transparency, and the truth. This presentation will explain about the RAP being put on our roads and why CBE and many residents of ElDorado are concerned about it. It will also show just a small percentage of the information and documentation CBE has obtained when trying to get factual information from our county commissioner and county employees, from their project engineer to their directors. Let's look at that pile we've been getting our RAP from. The first photo before the pile was put there is from July 2005. Somewhere over the 4-year period between July 2005 and August 2009, RAP makes its first appearance on St. Francis Drive. Let's recall the statement made earlier in the chemistry of RAP, quote, "There is significant variability in the chemical composition of RAP depending on its age and the locations from which it was obtained. Based on these photos, the pile has been growing and aging. 2013, and it's getting larger, which became evident as time went on. Though we've been told the RAP used in ElDorado was from the road construction on Route 25 only a couple of years ago. The RAP in these photos is already more than 5 years old. Then, around May 2017, ElDorado started getting its RAP from that pile. And when our residents began seeing what was in it and how it was deteriorating on our roads, members started visiting the RAP pile and found this. Does this look like it's been milled to 1 inch and screened for foreign objects? ElDorado residents have been told that the ElDorado RAP project was done to save money for the county so they won't have to do the normal road maintenance they should have done in the first place. But by the end of February, it was apparent milled and screened RAP had been added onto the original piles. The point is, 100% RAP, whether it's 1 inch or more, is still 100% porous RAP that shouldn't be laid on a road without everything required to accompany it. Here is an updated list of roads already wrapped and those on the to-do list. See if yours is on there. Many residents were at the December 7, 2017 Town Hall wrap meeting. From left to right are County Project Engineer Diego Gomez. His job title and why he was brought to the meeting is an important factor that we'll discuss shortly. Mr. Gomez was there to explain why wrap is, quote, good and safe for the residents of ElDorado. Next is the ElDorado Road Committee Chairperson, Felicia Prober. Next to Felicia is the ECIA President, John Henriksen. Mr. Henriksen is also the ECIA's liaison to the ElDorado Road Committee. Next is Deputy Public Works Director, Robert Martinez. Then there's Deputy County Manager, Tony Flores. Standing was the moderator, District 5's County Commissioner, Ed Moreno. Ed lives in and is an elected representative of ElDorado and was voted into public office by its residents. Again, ElDorado is the largest unincorporated community in all of New Mexico. One CBE member took it upon themselves to file a request for the Freedom of Information Act pertaining to all documentation regarding the state, the county, the wrap stockpile, and its use on our roads. Of the now nearly 100 pieces of information, one stood out about the donation of what ElDorado received. On May 4th, 2017, the New Mexico Department of Transportation filed a document that was important enough to be notarized. Apparently, the ECIA, the Road Committee's chairperson, and county officials feel our roads, our environment, our property values, and our health is only worth $5,000 or less. Besides other details in the documents mentioning that the wrap used on ElDorado's roads were inferior, it specifically states the wrap used to cover our 8 roads was, quote, worn out or obsolete to the extent that the item is no longer economical or safe for continued use by the New Mexico Department of Transportation. So they used it on us. Shortly after the wrap was deemed no longer safe by the New Mexico Department of Transportation, the county starts putting it on the roads of ElDorado. That brings us to this, Commissioner Moreno's December 15, 2017 announcement posted on ElDorado's website, letting us know where he stood based on what he saw at the town hall wrap meeting exactly 1 week earlier. He was able to say with great certainty that the surface hardens and the appearance becomes more appealing over time. As Mr. Moreno walked ElDorado's wrap road so he could stand behind his words, imagine if ElDorado had more rain and snow over the past winter. What condition do you think these roads would be in? Appealing? Appalling would have been a better word to use. He continued with, the ECIA and its road committee followed their normal inclusive process in recommending the use of wrap on certain ElDorado roads. Please remember, ElDorado residents have been told by Ms. Prober and the ECIA they had nothing to do with recommending the use of wrap or which roads it would go on, which Mr. Moreno just contradicted. Moreno goes on to say he supports wrap not only because it helps improve bad roads, but also because it's a highly efficient and cost-effective way to maintain roads. Mr. Moreno then says, I support the use of RAP on certain county roads, roads that are major collectors, thoroughfares, or experience high volume, ought to have an even, safe surface that can stand up to greater use. Seriously? In the second paragraph shown, he stated in parentheses that he supports RAP for roads like ours that have a volume of hundreds of cars per day. How many roads on that list to be wrapped get hundreds of cars per day? Other than our properly paved roads, how many of our dirt roads in general get hundreds of cars per day? He finishes the bottom paragraph with, there is a strong case for improved public safety and maintenance, which the use of recycled asphalt affords. How safe are those drainage ditches on Estambre and Wago Road? Maintaining our roads and drainage ditches correctly would have been the more cost-effective way to do the job. There has been an exchange of correspondence to legitimize the project, which includes contradictory information. The New Mexico Environment Department sent a letter to Public Works Director Michael Kelly regarding ElDorado's reclaimed asphalt, dated December 14, 2017, one day before Ed Marino's announcement. This letter is based on an on-site investigation by a member of the Environment Department. Please note, the term millings is used in lieu of the word RAP. Here are a few sentences from it. The amount of solid waste, including pieces of broken plastic shards, pliable road fabric, tire shreds, scrap metal pieces, and large chunks of asphalt found in with the millings and observed in both the stockpile on St. Francis and what was placed on Wago Road could potentially disqualify the materials as recyclable. It goes on to say, any solid waste must be removed from the millings that are to be reused and applied to the roadway. Additionally, in order for the reclaimed asphalt to be considered clean fill, the material must not be contaminated or commingled with solid waste, or the millings would need to be disposed of as solid waste. It continues. Another concern is the length of time the piled asphalt millings have been stored at the St. Francis location. Several years at best, perhaps decades. As such, this may be construed as abandonment and would therefore need to be disposed of immediately. It appears the county decided ElDorado would be a better place to use this contaminated and commingled RAP before being required to dispose of it. But why on the roads of ElDorado? On December 22nd, 2017, Mr. Kelly replied. He states, the RAP is not commingled with solid waste, but contains remnants of previous road surface. This includes rubber crack sealant placed on the previous road. Just remember, he wrote this letter on December 22nd, 2017. The date on that newspaper is April 5th, 2018. He goes on to say, the yellow and white fragments are large pieces of RAP with the paint and thermoplastic pavement markings of the pre-existing road surface. It's very important you remember Mr. Kelly refers to road surface markings as yellow and white fragments that are pieces of RAP with the paint and thermoplastic pavement markings, as you'll soon learn what's in those pieces. He continues with, this material is being screened prior to being transported. This is the stream ElDorado's rat was passed through. This is the object that was to allow only 1-inch pieces of rat to get through. Plus, it's to keep out foreign objects. Again, he continues, the county crew has been instructed to pick up and remove any remnants of the previous road surface found in the wrap once placed on the roadway. Please remember, Mr. Kelly's letter was written on December 22nd, 2017. The photo you're looking at was taken on February 6th, 2018. You've seen this photo before, proving nothing was put through a proper screen to keep out foreign objects. Here's an upside-down highway road reflector embedded in the wrap on a Stombre road. Notice one of its long screws facing directly into the oncoming traffic. Is this really the quality of work ElDorado deserves? It appears they missed this piece too. And then somehow this happened. On March 12, 2018, J.C. Borrego, Deputy Secretary of the New Mexico Environment Department, wrote a letter to Dr. Ghulam Mustafa of the EPA office in Dallas, Texas, informing everyone, based on the Solid Waste Bureau's thorough review of an investigation in the complaint and finding no environmental violations within its jurisdiction, the Solid Waste Bureau considers this complaint closed. Elsewhere, he writes, the items in question were no longer in the wrap. He stated this based on photographs the county sent to the New Mexico Environment Department. Obviously, no pictures taken by the CBE members of the actual wrapped roads that were submitted. Well, trust that CBE resolved this situation by sending many photos to Mr. Mustafa of the EPA, along with much of the documentation you're seeing here today, and more. But CBE is having this matter reopened, and will see to it that another investigation takes place, this time with CBE members giving the New Mexico Environment Department and the EPA personal tours. Borrego also confirms RAP was approved by our ECIA, saying, quote, roads that were previously identified and approved through the ECIA. And finally, he says, the Solid Waste Bureau agrees that after the initial placement of the millings, county workers removed the roadway debris and compacted the surface to create a suitable roadway. Again, please note, Borrego's letter was written on March 12, 2018. The newspaper is dated April 5th. Was false information given to the EPA? On February 8th, CBE member Paul Ingram sent an email to Mr. Moreno, giving many points and asking several questions. He also attached an information summary that provided details as to the various situations and conditions RAP should be used in. It stated that laying it directly on dirt roads was not one of them. Mr. Moreno wrote, quote, thank you for contacting me. I'm forwarding your email to Felicia Proberg, chair of the ECIA Road Committee, is coordinating with the county crews. I haven't received any concerns in quite a while. Yet Mr. Moreno has been getting emails at the same frequency all CBE members have been getting. He goes on to say, I believe that the treated roads will get a fog sealing once the winter is over. Fog seal. The magical additive the county tells us will make it all better. Please remember, fog seal is a mist of oil. Yes, oil on the porous wrap. Here is what ElDorado residents should know about fog sealing. It's a light mist application of a diluted, slow-setting liquid oil suitable for low-volume roads. Though Mr. Moreno said earlier in his announcement that the roads to be wrapped had hundreds of cars per day. Fog seal takes 4 to 6 hours to set and usually lasts for 1 to 2 years and is meant for properly paved roads, not 100% porous wrap. It should be noted that an excessive application of fog seal can cause a loss of skid resistance and braking ability. Mr. Moreno felt Robert Martinez should also respond to Paul's concerns. Right from the start, based on Mr. Martinez's admission alone, the county lacked the funds to do the job right, so they never should have done the job, they never should have put the wrap on our roads in the first place. He writes, "It would be ideal to screen the millings with a finer screen, but we don't have one. Don't make me laugh. A finer screen would require the screen to shape the material to prevent the screen from plugging up. It is beyond our budget to rent one for a long period of time." The county had to use that wrap pile before they'd have to dispose of it, and no one did anything to stop them from putting contaminated and commingled solid waste on our roads. With all of the dirt roads in Santa Fe County, why ElDorados? The last one came from Ms. Probert, who stated, recognizing that larger pieces of wrap and other material from the recycled roadways, such as rubber crack sealing pavement markers, may remain in the material that is being applied to the roadways, the crews walk the road to remove all large pieces of wrap and other material in the road prior to completion of the work. Had Ms. Probert walked along any of the roads where the work had been completed, she would have noticed these 2-foot-long slabs of wrap sitting in a drainage ditch on Estambre Road. And please note, Felicia's email was sent on February 9th. Those photos were taken on February 6th and April 5th. Maybe she would have seen these chunks of concrete that are a little more than the required 1 inch too. That brings us to the MPO bolt found in Estambre Road. Upon seeing the photo of the bolt, CBE member Jon D'Amore, having the experience of being a township supervisor serving on municipal planning commissions and road improvement committees, knew exactly who to call. The Santa Fe Metropolitan Planning Organization, the Santa Fe MPO. After emailing photos and documentation pertaining to ElDorado, the MPO representative was concerned about what was now on our roads and how an MPO bolt found its way into one of them. Ms. D'Amore was invited to attend their meeting on February 20th to address the panel of 18 members plus their assistants. Note the 5th name on the top list. That's the same Diego Gomez who was brought to the December 7th Town Hall RAP meeting as Mr. Martinez's representative. He was the one there to explain why RAP was good and safe for the residents of ElDorado. Besides being the county's project engineer, Mr. Gomez is also a member of the Santa Fe Metropolitan Planning Organization. Ms. D'Amore presented photos of the MPO bolt and objects not normally found in a road, along with a Ziploc bag of pieces from ElDorado's RAP roads. After Ms. D'Amore's presentation, Mr. Gomez responded by stating the county, quote, agreed not to put any more millings on any other roads. Remember, millings means RAP. Sorry. Mr. Gomez was asked to repeat his statement for the record, and he did. He then said the RAP was applied to our roads at the request of the ElDorado Road Committee. Again, recall that Ms. Probert has said ElDorado had no say in the matter, and it was solely the county's decision. This statement has now been contradicted by Commissioner Moreno in his December 15th announcement, in Michael Kelly's December 22nd letter to the New Mexico Environment Department, in J.C. Borrego's March 12th letter to the EPA, and by Santa Fe County project engineer and MPO official Diego Gomez in his own on-the-record statement. Mr. Gomez advised Ms. D'Amore to contact Mr. Martinez to verify what Gomez said. Mr. Gomez then said the county plans on doing some kind of treatment so that the millings don't remain as the driving surface. As recorded in the meeting, for the third time in summarizing, Mr. Gomez repeated that the county would no longer be putting millings on the road, on any roads. The following morning, Ms. D'Amore wrote to Mr. Martinez, I attended yesterday's MPO meeting and was advised by Mr. Gomez to contact you regarding ElDorado's RAP project. I would appreciate verification from you that the RAP project has been abandoned and no additional RAP will be laid on ElDorado's roads from this point on, as Mr. Gomez informed the audience. I look forward to hearing from you as soon as possible. At 1:50 p.m., Ms. D'Amore called the number Mr. Gomez provided, and Mr. Martinez answered. He said everything she heard the day before was wrong, and that he would soon reply via an email. An hour later it came. The Santa Fe MPO has no oversight of maintenance of county roads, nor does Diego Gomez oversee county road maintenance operations. If Diego said future use of RAP on ElDorado roads has been abandoned, then he spoke out of turn. The use of RAP has not been abandoned, but has been suspended until the fall of 2018 as posted on the ECIA website. Put this into perspective. Robert Martinez brought county project engineer Diego Gomez to ElDorado because he was qualified to be in that position and would present RAP in such a way that it would be, quote, good and safe for the residents of ElDorado. Mr. Gomez is also qualified to sit on the Santa Fe Metropolitan Planning Organization as a titled employee of Santa Fe County. Yet, Mr. Martinez is saying Mr. Gomez didn't know what he was talking about. A very interesting fact was brought to light on the findings of that MPO bolt in this particular, a very interesting fact was brought to light based on the findings of the Santa Fe MPO in that this particular MPO bolt may not have come from any MPO in New Mexico. Is ElDorado getting its RAP imported? Imagine being there and seeing this for the first time. Okay, not supposed to do that. But something else, let's put something else into perspective. As previously stated, ElDorado has been told by the ECIA and Ms. Probert that RAP on our roads was solely the decision of the county. Please note what Ms. Probert stated in the November 16th, 2016 minutes. Specifically, I asked Robert Martinez about using cold millings, such as ground asphalt, like we've seen used on some privately maintained roads on the east side of 283. Martinez then stated, the county does use cold millings in some cases, and when they are available. However, application of the cold millings requires reconstruction of the road to the subgrade and processing the millings with new asphalt. This would cost as much as a chip seal project, and funding isn't available for either. This shows that Ms. Probert was the one who suggested RAP, and even though Mr. Martinez explained the roads would need to be reconstructed to the subgrade, and the RAP must be milled with new asphalt. It should be noted that John Henriksen was, at that time, the ECIA's liaison to the road committee. The ECIA and Ms. Probert are not being forthcoming about their responsibility for recommending RAP, nor for allowing contaminated and commingled solid waste to be put on our roads with no concern for the community. What could be the motivation behind putting RAP that has already been deemed unsafe and contaminated onto ElDorado's roads? It certainly doesn't seem to be for the benefit or in the best interest of our community. 7 months after Ms. Probert's recommendation, and also after the RAP process had begun on 2 ElDorado roads, Mr. Martinez came to present the process for evaluating paved roads for maintenance or repaving. That would be done following PACER, the Pavement Surface Evaluation Rating System. Mr. Martinez states that the roads are given a rating of 1 or failure to 10, such as a newly paved road. Please note rating number 1, the worst rating on the right. But now it's going to flip through. This is just one of ElDorado's roads that are less than 6 months of being paved and maintained. And it's not alone. There are more. It seems PACER's worst is the best ElDorado's residents are going to have to live with. These are just a few of the 8 roads where photos have been taken. This is why the county, our ECIA, and the road committee, this is what the county, our ECIA, and the road committee chairperson wants to do to our community. Why would they want to do this here? Why could anyone think that 100% RAP would be cost efficient, safe, and good for ElDorado? Why are they working so hard to cover ElDorado's roads with RAP instead of either paving them correctly or maintaining the dirt roads like they should? Is this really the quality of work ElDorado deserves? Remember, ElDorado is the largest community in the state. Annually, we pay association fees that generates over $1.4 million and over $6.5 million in property taxes. All residents have the right to be represented honestly, correctly, and in our community's best interest. We all want to live in a community that doesn't have roads that deteriorate like these a couple of months after RAP is applied. As per the New Mexico Department of Transportation, and to which Mr. Kelly referred to earlier, road surface markings are, quote, white and yellow paint lines and reflector markings made up of pigments, glass beads, binder resins, plasticizers, and fillers. White paint pigment contains titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Conversely, yellow paint consists mainly of heat yellowing lead. Not alarming enough? Let's remember this. According to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, titanium dioxide dust, when inhaled, is classified as a Group 2B carcinogen, meaning it can be carcinogenic to humans and their pets. This 2-foot piece of road fabric was found in a drainage ditch on a Stambre road where water runs when we eventually get rain. You may find what's in road fabric to be interesting. The glass bead additives, which provide the retroreflectivity, is made from soda lime glass and imported to America from countries whose outdated regulations and manufacturing standards include the use of heavy metals such as arsenic and lead. A 2012 Texas A&M study states it's been found that the heavy metals become incorporated into the bead's glass matrix and may leach into the ground under environmental conditions that roads experience. A large percentage of ElDorado's residents moved here because of the clean, healthy air. Consider this. Road surface markings mixed with 100% RAP breaks down as daily traffic dries over it, potentially releasing lead and arsenic dust particles into the air and surface water. I want to thank you for viewing the information you've seen today, information neither our county representatives nor our community's officials have, but need to look into. Now I take my place as just a member of Citizens for a Better ElDorado. I know the person that will lead the group from this point on will do an outstanding job. But first, the ECIA, the person the ECIA really needs to worry about, my wife, Millicent D'Amore.